whatever comes through my garage that needs to be fixed, or whether it's a project I usually take on. And today it's a Infiniti Qx56. It's back for a coolant leak. The customer said it's leaking coolant. I did take a look at it. It does need a radiator, so we are going to be replacing that. I'm going to show you guys step by step how to do it. It's not too bad of a job, but I'll guide you guys through it, and it should be smooth so I can make your life a little easier. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so first we're going to take these two 8mm bolts off for the engine cover. Pull that out of there. Next, we're going to do these hoses, these breather hoses going into the intake pipe, and then these two clips here for the air box. Can pull those off. We got this clamp as well. Pop these off. Also pop this clip off. You don't want to break it like I did. It's a big no-no. Connector, pull it right off, pop that wiring harness off. Now we're going to open up the radiator cap, start draining the cooling system, but first we got to drop the skid plate. You got two 8mm in the front here and two in the back. Then you have the radiator drain there, the petcock. We're going to loosen that. Take these trans cooler lines off as well as the radiator hose. Starting to drain there. Take the trans cooler hoses off with that lower radiator hose. I use a hose clamp to prevent the fluid from coming out. Here's the other side, disconnected. There's that lower coolant hose. Take the lower half of the fan shroud out. There's one, there's two, and there's three clips holding it in actually. Upper radiator hose, and then these two 8mm screws for the top of the fan shroud, and then that bleeder line on the filler neck. Once that's all loose, you can pull the top half of that shroud out. Got two more 8mm bolts. Now the radiator is loose. You can wiggle it around, but there's two more 8mm. It's kind of behind this flap here. There's one. And there's the other. I just get a ratcheting wrench. I think that's the easiest way. These are little brackets that hold the radiator in. Other side is out. So now you can move the radiator out fully. Now you have to access these two more 8mm bolts. That's for the power steering cooler that bolts to the radiator. There's the other bolt there. That's loose. Before you take the radiator out, you can take the radiator out. The fan has to be removed. You got the 10mm bolts here. I hold it with the pry bar and crack all the nuts loose. Once they're all loose, take the tension off of the belt. I put this screw in there to keep it in place. while I loosened everything. Now the fan could come out. Now your radiator could come fully out. There's that power steering cooler. So I pulled the radiator out, and I'm going to situate this power steering cooler with a bungee cord. You can see I have it connected. It's hooked into the top there. It's just going to make your life a lot easier when you're putting a new radiator in. And I have it all the way hooked down to the bottom just to keep it out of the way. Take these little grommets out of the bottom of the old radiator, transfer them to the new one. Here's the new one looking all shiny. So I slid the new one in there and put the two 8mm bolts in for the power steering cooler. There's 1 and 2. Tighten them up. Now here's that bracket that I was talking about before for the two 8mm bolts. You slide that in there and then you put the bolts in. A little tricky. There's the hole where the 8mm bolt goes back into. We'll tighten that back. Now we have to put the trans cooler lines back into place. Then you put these two 8mm bolts back, as well as that top fan shroud. You could stick that in once you put that fan back in. After that, you're good to go. You just want to bleed the cooling system and pressure test it afterwards. Give it a drive, make sure you have heat, and you're ready to go. If you want to see more jobs in my garage like this, hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for watching.